go on to what's called the HMI dashboard, you're going to see a daily count of people experiencing homelessness in Knoxville. Top right corner, 2,021 people.
It's the new face of homelessness in America.
Affordable housing and evictions are the leading causes of new people experiencing homelessness.
Office of Housing Stability Executive Director Aaron Reed said this winter exemplified the need for more shelters in Knoxville.
I often say to people, where do you think the homeless go to die? They come to KARM. And when they do, it's tragic.
Been amazed at how many people are living without shelter. If you take a few minutes, you'll connect with the potential that they have.
The part where you say people come to KARM
To die.
yeah, I sometimes wonder, can people even handle that truth?
I think they need to. They need to hear it. You can't just drive by KARM and be critical and not know the complexity of the problem. We have over 400 people every single night come through our doors. And most of those people are coming to us on the worst day they've had. There's a term they use in mission work called
Three hots and a cot is what they say. 3 meals and a bed. We're so much more than that. That is the most basic, simplistic view of that. In fact, we would classify that underneath our rescue services, and it doesn't even encapsulate all of our rescue services. Fact, housing, without a doubt, far and away in Knoxville and across our nation is the #1 reason for homelessness.
42% of people attribute their homelessness to a lack of affordable housing. 21% say they became homeless due to being evicted. That's an 8% increase from the first quarter of this year.
Fact, 85% of people coming into KARM's doors report zero income, which means if housing cost $1 a month, they could not afford it. To go one level deeper and ask why, you're going to start peeling back some layers that are deep and dark and dirty. Finding out people have been severely abused, most of the time as a child, multiple times over, and they're coping as preteens and teenagers with drugs and alcohol. Unhealthy community, which led to no community, leads to isolation, oftentimes homelessness.
They are displaced either because rents go up, they lost a job, one thing happened, and you're on the street.
I know one guy that got divorced, and she took the house. He can't afford $1,700 in rent. He works at a gas station, so what's he to do?
They don't know the comprehensive programming that goes on within the walls of KARM, within rescue missions all over the country.
Thank you. Yep, it's muddy.
Well, these guys will get you propane. Have y'all got a heater over there? Yeah, you can't light a fire in there. They'll tell you. We'll get you some propane.
Yeah, it's a little bit of fungus, and then just that wetness. It's really hard to get rid of. Spray for it, but KARM is the first organization I actually did street rounds with. We've become a lot of people who are living unsheltered. We're their primary care. We use a team-based approach to go out into encampments, on the streets, under the bridges, to provide medical care. Since it's such a large area, I'm going to give you 2 tubes of it, okay? So you can keep it on there, but you gotta clean it real good, dry it real good, and then put the ointment on for it to work. On a given morning, we We work for 4 hours, and I feel like we see about this many of the folks that need help.
What's up, bro?
How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Yeah, you all right?
Yeah, I'm doing.
They think we're a soup kitchen. They think we just provide meals and shelter. And I once was one of them. I was totally ignorant of what KARM did. KARM serves about 4,000 men, women, and children every year. And that number grows year over year. And so it's continuing to increase. And I expect that number to be well over 4,000 again next year.
I mean, the Knoxville Police Department, they want the best for Knoxville. We're all trying to go after the same goal, and it's just to make Knoxville better. And everybody's on the same page with that. And we've all got ideas on how to do that. So we all just work together and try to meet that goal. Let me see who this is first. A lot of these people have been out there for a long time. Let's say you're on night shift. You get out with a homeless person, 3 a.m., they're cold, they're hungry. To get them into services and actually get them the help that they need will solve my problem long term, because they're getting the help and they're out of that picture. And now we're on to the next one, and we try to do the same thing with them. They're living in tents. I've got a guy on 640 making an A-frame house that I had to put a stop to last week. I mean, they're just living on state properties, city properties, private properties, basically anywhere that's got a little bit of cover, and then they can put a tent up and lay their head. I'll walk down the footpath, find the encampment, go make contact with them. Around 2009 is when I first saw black tar heroin. Then I started seeing powdered heroin, and then it just boomed, and now it's just fentanyl and meth everywhere.
Now a new report shows that people in 2 East Tennessee counties are overdosing on a drug so dangerous Narcan can't even help.
Recently, drug traffickers suspected of secretly adding xylazine to cut costs and increase highs.
The whole gamut of what we deal with in overdoses has really changed, where we were just dealing with heroin and now we're dealing with who knows what.
The time is now where we need more people than ever to support us, to get better educated about what's going on with our street homeless population. We have to respond because it's not going away.
Okay. Front desk to kitchen, you can go ahead and send me 10 women up, thank you.
You go up there, you can ask for either Isabella or Allison, and they can give you a tour. Okay? It was a very important role because I was essentially the face of KARM. So when we have new guests come in, the way I interact with them could be the determining factor on whether or not they seek out any other help that KARM has to offer. So I took that role very seriously. I do find it important to tell our guests that I love them because I genuinely do. I know that for a lot of our guests, it's a great probability that they haven't heard someone say that to them and mean it in a long time.
I did not even remember giving her those papers.
Honey, you are okay, really.
I did not, and it's still a blank to me. It just came
It's really okay. I thought I was remembering correctly, but between the two of us, we'll remember, you know?
Yeah, we got
It's okay.
it. I love you.
I love you too, honey. I have the opportunity to love them right where they are, and just like God does for us, you know, He loves us right where we are and enough to not leave us here.
I arrived at KARM with my dog and a backpack, and that was it. I was born here in Knoxville in 1966. When I was 9 months old, my parents decided to move to Michigan, and I was raised there. I had a pretty normal upbringing, except I was raped when I was 12. Dealing with that, and I think that's what set up my depression and anxiety. I worked 3 jobs to raise 2 kids, did the best I could as a single mom. Both of my daughters have drug addictions, and both of my daughters decided their drugs were more important than me. I knew I couldn't stay in Michigan and watch my children just kill themselves with their addiction. I couldn't do it. So when I was 55, 56 years old, I found myself on the street in Michigan for a year. And when I left Michigan, it was 10 below zero.
She was so beaten down. She weighed 86 pounds at 5 feet tall. The first clothes I bought her were from the children's department. She was exhausted. You can see in the early picture, she's kind of leaning against me in the picture. That was hard in the beginning. Just the energy wasn't there.
The thing that has broken my heart most over the past couple years is seeing the increase in the elderly. That, to me, should shatter people when they see that. To look across our women's dorm at night, which is home to 120 women, and to see an 89-year-old grandma sitting on the side of a cot.
And so much of our beginning is we see you, we hear you. They struggle, even giving this their name. They want to go by an alias so many times. They've created a new identity. How can we make them feel valuable? Taking apathy to hope. That's what we do. One glimmer of hope. It means everything.
My upbringing was a good upbringing. I had both my mother and my father in my life. They believed in discipline, and we went to church. We went to school, finished school. Couldn't ask for any better. My whole family's military. My father, he was military. My uncles, all of them. I joined the Army when I got out of high school in '85. But I got some injuries, so when I got out of the Army, I was introduced to crack cocaine. And then I would go to work Monday, wouldn't have a penny to my name. I would spend every dime that I had, and it was messing with my health. It was messing with my electric bill, water bill. I couldn't pay anything. I was just working just to get high. I remember one time I looked at myself in the mirror high and I said, "Oh Lord, this is so terrible." My little sister, she came to visit me. She noticed it, that I was very, very depressed. I felt like I didn't have any hope for anything when I first got here. And she heard about this program, and with her, I don't know what I would do without my sister, my little sister. She's been there to support me so much. And she said, I'm gonna help you get some help. You're my brother, and I love you, and I'm gonna be there for you. I just didn't want to go back to the same way I was, so I was determined to stay, and I was determined to make it work for me.
Within a year of being born, my mom decided to walk out. So that left just me and my dad. My dad ended up wanting to have a mother figure within my life. And so he got remarried to my stepmom. And that was a very toxic and abusive relationship. She was very abusive on all fronts. So mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually. I honestly thought I was going crazy because abuse would have taken place, and 10, 15 minutes later, she would call me out and she would have me sit next to her. She would be like, "Why are you upset?" And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "What do you mean? What just took place?" I was really scared to really say much around her. So I would reference what just went down, and she would be like, "I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened." My first introduction to substances was cocaine. I was an assistant manager at a restaurant. There were workers, one in particular, he would have parties all the time. And this is when I got introduced to opiates. After work, I find myself going over to his house with, a group of people, and it was like an escape for me. At that point, I was hiding, addiction. And so I ended up moving back home. I ended up dating another guy, still in addiction and trying to hide it. At this point, I was moved from doing prescription pills to now I'm doing heroin.
I'm finally getting my disability. I mean, I'm getting military, I'm getting my benefits and getting all my medical care taken care of now. If I hadn't been here, I wouldn't have been able to do that because my life wasn't right. I'm in what they call transition right now, and I'm working, and I'm an older fella. I'm 60 years old now, and a lot of things I could tell a lot of young people. That's what I really want to do, is be able to mentor to young people and let them know life is short. You better take it serious. I've been here a total of a year and maybe 5 months or something like that. You have to want the change, and without Jesus Christ, without the help of God and finding how my trust in God, I don't know what I would do. I put it in God's hands, and I'm reaping the benefits right now from it. I can go to sleep with a smile on my face and happiness in my heart, because I know good Lord's got something in store for me, and I know He does. God is so good.
What was it like opening up the door to your apartment for the first time?
Oh, it was, I can't put it into words. It was, I'm home. Just the feeling of home, the feeling of, it's happened. And I was at KARM for only 6 months before I got this apartment. And it's by the grace of God and all those loving, sweet people, that gave me the confidence back to be able to do what I've accomplished. And I thank God so much for them. I don't know where I'd be without them. Because Tinkerbell and I were going to freeze to death in Michigan, sleeping outside. And I thank God for KARM.
One of the first times I think where I had, my drugs, and I remember looking at it in my hand and I just started sobbing. And I just said, Lord, I can't do this on my own. My aunt, I get a text and she's like, the Lord is working. She's like, I really need to talk to you. She's like, the Lord has really laid it on my heart. I don't know. She's like, I just feel this pull that you need to go to Serenity. You need to be a part of Serenity. And she says she just heard it clear as day. The Lord impressed in her spirit, and He said, it's time for Maria to go. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I was heard. He heard my prayer. He heard my cry, So I've been at Serenity going on 21 months now. I made the Dean's List with a GPA of a 3.72. So I was just happy to pass. So that just exceeded my expectation for sure. I have now been sober going on 22 months. I think it was very important for me to be in an environment where I could just be me.
I wish I could sit here today and say the need is going away or it's decreasing. It's not. You hear from people like, well, KARM's been there all these years. Why aren't you helping more? Why are people still on the sidewalk? Why are people, And so I want to say, come down. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation about what is going on with our street homeless population here in Knoxville.
It doesn't need to be overthought. We are literally just here to love people and to be able to see them grow beyond their current circumstances.
Not everybody can volunteer. Not everybody can hike out into an encampment. But there's still ways to be able to help support this type of work by donations.
Think about doing laundry for 400 plus beds every single day. We have numerous programs they can enter, from outreach to transitional to medical to residential. We help people get employment. We have a community of staff and volunteers who are there to meet with these individuals every day so that they can feel seen, valued, and heard.
Rescue is the bedrock of what KARM was founded on, and it will always be there for restoration programs and life skills programs, because everybody's story is different. We have to be there to keep up with what is needed to get people out of homelessness. But how awesome is it that we actually get to rewrite people's stories?